kalain kalatkat balangbang ana kinainom ko kaya ako mga atom ko sa kaning amo ang probinsya sa Barili o sa Pinumungahan. Ako ang amahan sa Pinumungahan, akong inahan sa Barili niya mo ginana mga istorya nila, di ba? Kanang murag ina, di ba? Kanang murag lumay kay ba, di ba?
Christine sir taga pinamungahan
Oh,
ba?
Christine.
Alam mo,
Christine.
pinamungahan, Sir
Asam
Jiggy.
asam man karon Christine, asam man karon dapita sa Cebu.
I'm actually in the heart of islands in
Ana
Bohol.
ka sa Bohol.
Dala ko pasalubong,
Oh,
guys.
so tinuod gyud nga Bojol na gyud Jay sang Bojol. Tinuod gyud na
Oh,
siya.
najud.
Taga
Si Ja, magana
si Ja.
Ja.
Si Ja tagay ko no kog greet us kuno in Boholano kuno kanang Bulanon be. Sample kuno.
Okay, I'll ask my first. Unsang pag-greet in Bohol?
Bulanon ba?
Maadjong buntag kaninyong
maadjong
tanan.
buntag.
Maadjong.
Maadjo. Sige, maadjong buntag pud kanimo. Marcel, good morning Marcel.
Hello, good morning,
Si
sir.
Oliver naa sa Dalaget. Si Christine nasa Bojol. Ikaw asa man ka?
Nara dyan sa Cebu, sir.
Nara ka sa Subo. I-greet ko nung ang atong mga tigpaminaw in Sugboanon be. In Binisaya be.
Maayong buntag, mga bisdak.
Good morning TMC morning team. Good morning. How was your weekend, guys? Was it all right?
My weekend was a blast, actually. How about you, Sir Jiggy?
It was also a blast. We had so many events, so many activities. As you may have noticed, we had the launching of our attempt at a Guinness Book of World Record for the largest claw machine. There is ato ang play fair. So I'm very excited about that. But I think one of the biggest news this weekend was, we talked about it over the week, right? Katong the results of the PBB, right? Or the Pinoy Big Brother collab, right? So tell me exactly what happened, guys. Kinsa may mananaog sa ato ang PBB collab? I heard or I read about a lot of posts. Murag na disgruntled, even mad at the results na apoy mga nalipay og maayo. Kinsa gyud nakadaog sa PBB collab di ay?
So, okay, let's announce this, like how they announced it live, no?
Okay.
So, fourth big placer, which is like ikaupat, like the fourth one, is AZ and River. So
Okay.
si AZ, as we've said, guys, si AZ itong taga Cebu.
Okay.
And then third big placer is Charas. So sila Charlie and Esmir, the Bisdak duo as well.
Okay.
And then our second big placer is Rawi, which is si Ralph and si Will.
Mhm.
And our big winner for this edition is Brecca, so si Brent and Nika.
Brent and Nika. So
Nika.
tell me about the response of the results. Unsa may tan-aw sa kuan sa madlang people? What did they say about the results? Were they all happy? Kamo ikaw Marcel. Were you happy about the results?
Well, at first, I think it was a bit unexpected for me as someone na like kanang wala man ko tigsunod, but I know na like kani silang upat ka kuan, nani sila mga fan bases jud, and it could have been a really close fight.
Okay.
But kanang pagkita na ko sa like big winner kay wala ko ga-expect na sila ang ma-big winner. Kaya I really thought na like it would be the other duos, and sa amo lang pong like kanang community, like in my own space, I saw a lot of people who thought na lang kanang ang Charas kay kanang mas taas silang ranking. Like they thought na like kanang ay sayang third rest sila and all. So there were a lot of really mixed reactions about the results.
Unsa may, what do you think contributed to the results of the PBB or Pinoy Big Brother collab?
Well, this the voting system for this kanang last na kanang voting, it's both kanang BBS and BBE. So BBS is kanang murag vote to save. Yang
Okay.
BBE is kanang vote to evict. So kaning vote to evict, actually dili nila sila ma-evict kay last ko naman, di ba, last week naman ang pamaagi ani na voting system is kanang ang vote sa BBS kay minusan nila sa vote sa BBE. So for example, one duo, they got like, let's say 50% of votes sa BBS, sa vote to save. And then nakakuha mo po sila 20% sa vote to evict. So, ang ilahang votes to save, mamaynusan sila 20% sa votes to evict, meaning ang total votes nila it's kanang 30% na lang, which would really drag down the rankings.
Mm.
I think that was also one of the major things that made Asver the fourth big placer na kanang maong na fourth sila kay daghan na ni vote nila sa vote to evict.
Mm. So, naghisgot man ta earlier, a few days ago, during our conversation about PBB, nga based on donations ni siya, based on amounts of money. Sakto ba ko?
Yeah, through Maya voting.
So did they announce pila ang amount na raise sa champion, sa winner sa PBB collab? Pila man nga amount of money ilang na raise? Wala gisulti nila?
I don't think
Yes, Christine.
yeah,
Yes.
sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Christine. Go ahead.
No, from what I have just observed, usually they don't announce it like funds that they have kept or kanang ilahang gipagawas I mean. But ang mga funds man ana kanang to show proof gani nga mo na ilahang gi-vote kay fund base man siya. But go ahead, Hilary, can you explain maybe sayo pa ko ang kuan pag-observe lang?
Actually, like kanang sa katong live jud sa big night kay ang content mismo, ang program jud mismo niingon na like throughout the entire season kay mo ni ang na-raise nila mag millions pud to captain if I'm not mistaken from all the kanang di ba kay mga weekly challenges kay naman kanang sa weekly budget maka-raise man sila money ana and
So,
katong sa mga charities pud nila.
so unsa may reason sa mga katawhan nga nung murag wa man sila ni agree kay murag dagham kay ito nga suko, nakita na ko mga post nga nasuko sila nung nasuko man to sila. Kinsa man day ang favorites day? Were the winners also the favorites to win the PBB collab, or lain nung tato niya? Murag this is a kind of a surprise result.
Marshall, sir, may butang siya surprise, Sir Jigs, kay wala kay ga-expect ata na ang Breka ang madaog kay ang sa like social media, like sa kuwang social media lang, grabe ang Chares, makalay ka ng ang fame na ilang nag-garner sa social media. Grabe, considering si Isnir is like very famous among influencers po, other celebrities, daghang kay mga celebrities na kanang ni campaign gani for BBS Chares kay para lagi sila big winner. So mo to daghang expect na even ang Breka o ang Rawi na shock sila na ang Chares is only third. So mo to na daghan ka mixed emotions sa mga to kay daghan siguro nag-think po na ang Chares is supposed to be in the higher ranks ananta.
So
I think the reason
go ahead, Christine, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
The reason why they won ang broadcaster, it's because katong fans gani sa Shukla, they were good friends man inside the house. The Brent, Mika, Shuvi and Clarice were great friends, and including ang Dasby. So I think ang mga fans sa Shukla and Dasby, since they were evicted already, where dito sila ni vote ni Breka, I think that is also one of the reason why they won that night.
So dili nila gi-indicate ang amount of money that they raised because for whatever reason maybe they will announce that at a later date. But my next question would be, will they be announcing the numbers, the figure of votes, or the number of votes that each of the participants received? Is that in public domain? Can we see the results, the actual results of the voting? Or kwarta bagyud tanan puros, di ba? Wala ba'y vote nga walay kwarta?
Actually, kwarta jud siya. Kwartahay jud
siya. So wala so wa kita. So will we ever know pila ang results eventually, maybe at a later date? Unsay results sa pa-contest o gi-announce lang nila without announcing the numbers?
Wala ba gipakita din ang kanang like percentage sa mga or gipakita to? Percentage.
Percentage siya gipakita.
So So unsa may iyang percentage?
I don't really remember like pila jud kay
Was it close? Was it close?
Yeah. I remember na Asver was around 8% sila, and then the rest ang top 3 kay mga 20% na sila, like, pila mga 2-3 points your agwat nila. It was a very close fight
So
for the top three.
close guys just tanan. So murag
Yeah, for the top.
evenly distributed ang top 3. Ang katong ikaupat moment to give vote to evict, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
tanaw nimo ani ang atong mga winners. Kinsa kay nga sa duo gali to?
The big winners
Yes.
are Brecca. Brecca. So
Brecca,
Brent and
Kani si Brent og si Ka. Kinsa ni si Ka? Ha? Nika. Kani si
Nika.
Brent. Kani silang duha. Ika. Kani silang duha.
Mika.
Kani silang Brent og si Mika. Tanaw nimo, do they have a bright future in showbiz, in social media? Do you think they'll follow the likes of Slater Young, Paul J. Castillo, kaning Kim Chu, and so on and so forth? Tanaw ninyo, nani sila kaning commercial interest ni ani nila sa ilang careers. What do you think?
For me, sir, I think so. Labi na si Mika. Mika is already like in a GMA series sa
Okay.
bago na release sa ilang Encantadia, part na siya ato na ano. So I think iyang career in showbiz would like sakag yun siya.
Mm-hmm. So tanaw ninyo.
And yeah, she's very talented girl.
Mm.
And then she has many followings, someone said good. And she is friends with influencers, and now that she has broadened her kanang connections, she's part of the mainstream na, like nana siya, part na siya sa Encantadia. So I think mo blossom pa jud iyang career as an artist. And also si Brent, maski he's very kanang introverted, right?
Mm.
Si Brent, pero he's slowly building his image, and then kanang mas mo interact na siya, and he carries himself very well. So I think both of them would flourish in the industry.
And other plan po kay Sir Brand is actually one of the new faces sa kanang atong sa clothing brand, or big clothing brand.
That's good to hear. So so kamong duha, kamong tulo, are you happy with the results? Ikaw Oli, are you happy with the results?
Okay na ako, sir. Ako honestly, I was rooting for Rawi ato. But like, okay, of course, I feel na ako deserving mapabud sila. Labi na po si Mika, makaingon ko.
How about you, Christine?
I'd say I'm very happy with the results because Mika has shown her kanang true self. Gani, she was bashed before. Kay she had a very controversial issue manggod na during pandemic time, kanang sa Hawaii, she was arrested because gilabag niya ang restrictions, like if nabot ka bag-ohay lang sa Hawaii, ma-house arrest man guro ata ka. Is that the right term? I'm not sure. Pero you have to stay before you can kanang laag or go to your house, and then nilaag man siya ato, so she got arrested and people were bashing her nga muna kanang gara-gara man.
Tessa, so, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about during the pandemic or bago lang ni nahitabo?
Pag pandemic ni sir, and then
okay.
online
Quarantine.
maski na siya.
Okay. Sabi na ko bago lang ni nam pwede kang issue gud sa Amerika karon dili na pandemic pero immigration nga maglisod o peligro na kaysanan kung maglarga-larga mo kuno sa Amerika basig mga binuang nila nga basig dili na mo kabalik ka kuya kaysanan. So I don't know unsa nang itabo niya sa Amerika. Anyway, how about you? Kaning Arcel, lipay ra ka sa result? Happy ra ka? Or violent ka?
Actually, kanang like I said pag last week kay charas jud ko.
Okay.
But seeing the result kay I think deserve man pud sa mga for me, I don't really dili ko mind gani kinsay mabig winner kay para nako kung mabig four ka kay murag winners na pud mutanan, like
okay.
What they say, ang totoong labanan is nasa outside world. So like it's about the opportunities that you get outside and how you really showcase yourself inside the house.
Okay.
So I think that
Okay, so we're happy with the results of the PBB collab. Kamo mga atong mga tigpaminaw, tanaw ninyo lipay ra mo sa results sa PBB collab. Let us know, text 0999-887-6070. Pwede niyo i-comment sa among Facebook page Tops Media Center, sa among YouTube Tops Media Center. Please press subscribe, also our TikTok Tops Media Center, and press follow or subscribe sa atong TikTok Tops Media Center, and tell me about how you feel about the results of the PBB collab. One of the things that also happened over the weekend was the attempt of the Playfair claw machine for the biggest claw machine, not just in the Philippines but in the world. So nag-attempt na mi pag Sabado. Yani, I was actually there. I hosted the event. You know, it was we had some VIPs there. We had Congressman Edu Rama, Councilor Joel Garganera. We also had a few attorneys and engineers and so on and so forth. And I can talk about what happened there, but kamo sa inyong pagbasa sa mga posts sa social media, unsa man inyong nakitaan, unsa man inyong nabasahan sa social media, how did the people, how did the public, how did the world react to our attempt at the biggest claw machine in the world? Go ahead.
So from what
Go ahead, continue.
okay, so from what I read sa kanang mga news posts, I found out that kani siya na this attempt sa kanang largest to break the record of the world's largest claw machine, it attempts to break a record na kanang since 2011 pa
Yeah.
na hold sa another country.
Mhm.
So this record is actually previously held by the Santa Claw machine
Yeah.
sa US man ako siya.
Sa
Or
Florida,
Leonardo
sa Florida ni sa Florida.
Yeah, so it was a record na 2011 pa nahimo. So
Mm.
if we break this record, it could be really monumental for us. And from what I've read also, okay, if we do break this record, this would be the fourth record na kanang na break sa Cebu sa Guinness World of Records. Kay in the past years, we broke the records for the largest rondalia ensemble, and we also broke the record for largest board game tournament and the largest display of origami sharks. So I think that these records really also help put Cebu in the world map. Kay it also opens like the doors for people to like sort of see the hidden gems of Cebu, not just the Cebu that we always portray sa atong mga promotional videos.
Yeah. How about you guys? How about you, Ollie and Christine? Naamoy mga nabasahan nga interesting about our attempt at the Guinness Book of World Records largest claw machine in the world. Nga sa Playfair sa Tops.
So far, sa ako ang nabasa lang sa mga comments, people were just asking kung asa ang location, where is it,
Okay.
anong place, jud. I think ay bago pa manggod siya, good, like ang mga posting sa news, kanang pages, kay ano pa, kanang one day ago pa, so I think need pa siya more mo share o mo interact.
Yeah.
So,
So,
para na yung mga
wala pa kayo. Nakay nabasahan diha kaning Ollie?
Wala ka ako kasi since ako nabasan kay mga to kay nangutan ana pug congrats asa na ang location ani. Pero interesting kay ang post sa isa ka kanang news outlet kay na si Kuya Magic. Ay kita ba?
Yeah.
Here.
Yes, of course, yeah. Well, Kuya Magic is one of the people behind one of the owners of Playfair as well, right? So of course that's why he's there. In fact, he tirelessly assembled the claw machine for 5 days man siguro na siya. But when it arrived about a week ago or 2 ago, so of course he's there. And also together with the other co-owners of Playfair. So congratulations to you guys. Daghan kayong mga friends from media, from social media, from traditional media. Of course, was also present together with Attorney Michelle Vargas, architect, of course, Edu Rama and Councilor Joel Garganera and Congressman Edu Rama was also there. Gisukod nila, gadatag engineer si Noel Engineer Noel unya gisukod gyud nila ang gidakon, gilapdon o gilawmon sa claw machine unya paghuman niya na ila din gi-record para mapasubmit din nila sa Guinness Book of World Records. So we will probably know in the next few weeks kung nakuha ba nato ang world record. Ikaw, Oli, kung naa kay world record nga ma-break personally, unsa man imuhang world record kaha nga ma-break nga murag tan-aw nimo doable, achievable?
I feel like ang ako
What would your personal world record be?
pinakadaghang only wings.
Unsa? Pinakadaghang
Pinakadaghang
Unli Wings. Ano mo day? Grabe day ka mukha Unli Wings day.
Para naman ko Sir Jigs na if mukha ko actually kako Unli Wings lang pag Friday I think or
Okay,
Saturday.
pila man kabuk Unli Wings imong nakaon?
Ato sir kay marag kwanta marag slow day to na ako kay
Slow day ha? Pila man?
Slow day around 20 na to ako nakaon ato.
What?
Usually ang ako ang regular is around 40.
Oh my God, 14. Walay rice. Lanlan ra. Na bagyo rice.
Na usa ka rice.
Usa ka rice.
Usa ka rice.
Grabe, ha?
Dili alkansi Sir Jigs kay ako man gud if anto Unli man gud na wings ganahan ko makabawi sa akong gibayran. So
Pila may gibayran nimo day? Pila may gibayran usually ang Unli unsa man?
ang akong ganahan gid Unli Wings si kuan man to siya usually 350 man gid akong bayaran.
Okay,
Bawi
okay.
kasi kahit tinadaan pero like
Unsa may ngan sa Unli Wings imong paborito day?
ay boss manok mo gyud na akong go-to.
Boss Manok kanang diri sa Lahog, napay laing branch ba?
Oh, napod sa lahog naapod sila sa Mango.
Okay. So ang imong personal record nga perhaps doable nimo nga maka-break ka kung na magali record existing is the most number of Unli Wings. Ikaw, Christine.
Ang pinakadaghanan mo so far sir na nahurot na Unli Wings kuyog si Christine kay 120 at kabuok.
O kamong duha.
So upat may kabukan
Upat pakabok sa tag 40 mo. Ikaw, Christine, unsa man imong personal world record ka nga ma-break if possible unsa man?
I think if mabutang ko sa GWR, siguro ko lang pinakadaghang mainom nga Coke.
What?
Kay Coke girly jud ko and
Oh
then
my
I've
God.
tried drinking some bottles.
Dili na diet Coke, imo Coke yun nga regular?
Oh, kanang botelya sir
Oh
ba?
my God, sa pila man ka Coke bottle imong mainom?
Kuyog sa ako sa river.
Oh, so sa pila man ka botelya
7 to kung wala ko na.
Pito ka bo Coke. Naunsa? Anong naabot makagpito ka Coke? Ano man to?
Kanang gining sigkaon din uhaw tapos uhaw.
Sus grabihan ang pito gabi. Mura man sugaricide man na. Mura man ga sugaricide. Ikaw Marcel, unsa man nimong tanaw? Unsa may world record nimo nga doable tanaw nimo? Para nimo?
So as an individual, I think like if I can go back to my original bookworm era,
Okay.
kanang most books read in a week.
Most
siguro,
books
like,
read in 1 week. Pila man ka libro imong nabasa during your book reading era? Pila man ka book libro imong nabasa?
Back then, mga nakakaya ko like 2 to 3 books a day.
2 to 3 books a day. Oh my God. Ano man are you did you practice kaning speed reading?
Well, not really. Murag dali ra guro ko maka-absorb og like info or something. But most of the books I read, they're novels mapud good. So murag malingaw ra ko and murag I just like lose track of time.
Pero na may kuan good, na man good technique gitawag nila og speed reading. Are you aware of that and can you do that? Do you know how to speed read ba? Dili.
I didn't really practice that sir. Wala ko ka kuanan na. Mas ganahan ko na if mo read ko kanang masabtan jud nako like kada linya or
Okay. So muna ang inyong mga world records nga ma potentially beat. Well,
How about you, Sir
ang ako is I can probably beat the record for the longest podcast. I can probably talk forever. Yes. So I
think so. It's actually
So pwede ra ta
Sir Jiggy coded.
magstoryahan na itag pila ka semana di jud ko mahot na nagstorya. Mo na nga ako ang world
Uli na.
record. Unsa to?
Pwede na water break na Sir
pwede
Jiggy
lang ako
kung mag-podcast.
Magdaan ako kateter kundi magkuan ako mag-diaper lang ko. Anya magbutang lang ko water station diri pwede ra siguro dili ko mobiya. So mo na atong world record. And speaking of world record ba, kaning mga bisita nato karong buntaga ganahan ko nga makakuha ni sila og some kind of world record because I think they deserve the world's attention. We have here with us, guys, our friends from the Pink Paddlers Dragon Boat team, the first ever Pink Paddler group in the world. Let's give them a round of applause. Please kindly grab the microphone, ladies, and introduce yourselves. Go ahead. Anna, go ahead. Starting with you, ma'am.
Yes, good morning. I'm Eden Paluca. I'm married. 11 years breast cancer survivors.
Okay. And you're also one of the founders of Pink Paddlers.
Somewhat, yeah.
Somewhat that. How about you, ma'am?
Hi, good morning. I'm Vivian Borromeo.
Okay.
I'm a 15-year breast cancer survivor. So I came in 2019, so the team was already very much
place na siya.
entrenched at that time.
Okay, ikaw?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Feli Ladera. I'm 8 years cancer survivor.
Okay, how about you, ma'am? Apil lang po ko diri. Atong social media expert diri. Ang teenager nila diri natin.
Hello, good morning. This is Mary Vic Teves Bargayo. I'm 5 years a breast cancer survivor.
I'm 5 years old. Anyway, kaning Pink Paddlers ba? Dragon Boat Cebu Pink Paddlers Dragon Boat team. Tell us about it. How did it all begin? Give us the long story of the Cebu Pink Paddlers. Go ahead.
There is one breast cancer survivors, or we call it breast sisters,
Okay.
from I Can Serve Foundation, a group. So she was the one who invited us, encouraged us to join paddling. So with that, let's say me personally, I am not a sports person, so somewhat I am hesitant to join because the trainings dili siya basta-basta. So I was very curious about the sport. So when I joined, so as a breast cancer survivor, you want something different because after diagnosis, kanang murag na change imuhang life. So when I joined or tried bugsay or paddling, murag lahi siya og feeling. It's a different feeling than the usual na imong ginabuhat. So when I first tried, so murag kog na in love dayon sa sports kay murag lahi siya, murag galingkod ra ka, and then you'll just do the upper body, but mo to nag-encourage pod mi sa other breast cancer survivor. So until nakapuno mi og isa ka small boat. And then there was a international dragon boat race was held in Mactan. That was 2017.
But the first Pink Paddler, Cebu Pink Paddlers was what year?
That was 2017.
Same year also.
Same year.
Same year also. Would you be able to tell us unsa nga buwan?
That was May.
May of
May
2017.
2017.
So kinsa man to, who were the first people who were there during the first ever? Top of your head lang, hinumduman lang nimo.
Ang first good na kuan is that was Ate Grace.
Si
And
Ate
then
Grace.
there
Okay.
was Mary Ann, Betty, Merasol, si Ate Rosalie, si Maribeth, then me, and then the rest, nana silang Maricho, there was Georgia Sad, and then sila Ate Inday, and Janice, and then who else pa? Then until nakabuod mig isa ka boat. There was Aida pa.
Pila man ay kabuk ang usa ka boat? Pila may mabuod ay?
14. Kay each side is 5 paddlers. Then there is the steerman, the caller, and then two reserves. And then so during that time there was no proper training pa good because we don't have a coach or basta ang is we just enjoy kanang bugsay. Then there was that May 2017 International Dragon Boat Race held in CYC. Then they joined me. And then as expected, since there was no proper training, wala mi kadaog. But then we captured the heart of the people. It's because knowing na, these ladies paddling were all breast cancer survivors. So, people were amazed. They were inspired sila na in spite of kanang as breast cancer survivors, they're paddling. So as a group, so why not along the way, why not kind of create our own dragon boat team na structured na gid siya na since nakabuo naman kita og isa ka small boat, then composed of breast cancer survivors. So sometime exactly July 13 of 2017, we are SEC registered na. Then also kuan na gud siya amo ang team kanang organized na gud siya with all paddlers, with coach, with Anna, and then we were invited to join sa Kilong. That was sometime October of 2017. And then we represent the Philippines as the first breast cancer survivors dragon boat team to represent the Philippines. So, dito so of course, when you join a dragon boat race, we need to prepare. So there were kuan gid siya kanang proper training, kanang preparation physically, emotionally, mentally, that kind of preparation. But then, when we were there, beside our team was a team that was paddling for how many years na, and then here we come, Cebu Pink paddlers, newbie, then we're just properly paddling or kanang training namo for less than a year, but dito nakita ang ko katag because
Nakita ang scatter.
yeah, because we're able to prove not that we're capable, kanang we for the 2,000 meter we got the gold. 200 meter and 500 meter we got the gold. So we're able to raise the flag of the Philippines that hey, in spite of everything, kaya gud siya.
So unsa may I'm curious ba unsa may significance sa dragon boat and being a breast cancer survivor na by correlation or kuanong ni siya kaning random lang ni siya nga nganong dragon boat ang inyong napili nga sport.
Actually, there was 30 years ago in Vancouver, Canada.
Okay.
There was a doctor, researcher na talagang sports medicine siya who posted basically his theory na dragon boat can help breast cancer survivors.
Okay.
Primarily because of the repetitious movement of the arm.
Okay.
It reduces lymphedema.
Okay.
Because that's one of the side effects of surgery. Because especially if you take out mga nodules or nodes, then there's a tendency for edema to actually take place sa arms. So what he said is that the repetitious movement will actually be good for that. And from there on, for the next 30 years, it really, the dragon boat movement for the breast cancer survivors took off, especially in the US and Canada. So for us here in the Philippines, we're kind of new to the idea. And that's one...
what idea?
The idea of actually paddling for breast cancer survivors.
Yeah. Okay. So dugay na dili na siya.
No,
this is not something unique here.
Yes.
In Cebu nga breast cancer cancer survivors, not necessarily just breast cancer, but any cancer for that matter, actually do paddle because it's actually beneficial. Okay, please continue. Sorry.
No. And so here in the Philippines, I think the challenge is really recruiting for breast cancer our sisters to encourage them to paddle. I think we face the culture issue of it's hard, it's init, you will get dark, etc. Bine-baby, yung mga patients, mga survivors. So it is a difficult sport, especially for somebody who just got out of treatment. But I think it's very rewarding because it's not just only the physical aspect, but it's also the psychosocial aspect. You're with fellow members who understand the journey of survivorship. So it's easier to talk about things. It's nothing. So that is, I think that's one of the things that we are proud of because as Eden said, this is actually our 8th year being here in Cebu. So that's, to us, that is an accomplishment. We want to celebrate that.
Maayong buntag sa ato mga kaigsunan nga nananaw sa ato ang YouTube. si Juan Ver DG Bargayo, Oliver Luis Amaya, si Sid Soler, daghang salamat sa inyong pagtanaw. Kamo diha mga Marcel, Oliver, and Christine, do you have any questions to our cancer survivors here who are part of the Cebu Pink Dragon Boat Paddlers team? Christine?
I'm very curious lang, like, what has been your proudest moment so far as a pink paddler? Like, can you recall nga makaingon jud mo nga murag this is very worthwhile sa akong oras and effort as a pink paddler?
Your proudest moment. Unsa man inyong mga achievements as a collective, as Pink Paddlers of Cebu, Dragon Boat Pink Paddlers, na mo yung mga nakaparticipate mo sa mga different competitions. Go ahead. Please talk about
that was in Taiwan, because ever since that was the first ever competition that I joined ever from kanang college days or elementary days, na I was able to get a medal na kanang gold and representing our country, and then all the sacrifices, all it paid off, because before reaching that kung ano man good kanang that phase, you have to go through like personally, like kanang physical i-prepare gud nimo in oneself. Then when we got that gold or that reward, kanang very satisfying, fulfilling, na in spite of everything you've been through, no, there's still so much life after diagnosis.
life after diagnosis. Kanang cancer ba mo magid usa magid ni sa mga daghan nga mga diseases nga medyo we still not haven't found a cure, right? Daghan makayong mga other diseases nga nanay mga cure, di ba? But kaning cancer usa ni sa mga kaning group of diseases nga wala pa cure. But daghan man kayong disease good if you think about it, kanang hubak, di ba? Asthma wala man cure, di ba? Kanang HIV wala pa cure sad. So aside from other diseases, right? So kaning of course, if you're with a group of people nga namoy a team objective, a team goal, and there's community, there's camaraderie, there's sharing of experiences, I think also helps, right? In fact, I think that's a huge somebody once said the mental is also the physical. Nag-ingon sila nga unsa imong huna-hunaon mo manifest na sa imong kalawasan. In fact, if you think about it, kanang mga tao nga medyo kanang, for example, si Christine, magmaoy ni si Christine, di ba? Di ba, Christine, di ba, magpuyo ram ka sa balay, di ba? So mo manifest yun na ang imong pangutok, imong mental state sa imong panglawas, di ba?
Mhm.
So I think this is really good nga there's a sense of community with your fellow paddlers nga magkaistoryanay mo, and then you have like na regular activity kaya anam sa ning kanasang usa sa mga pinakalisod yung buhaton kay nangiskot man ta ni Agi Christine nga and Oliver and Arcel nga kaning usa sa mga lisod yung kaayong buhaton is mulihok, di ba? I mean, like sayon na kayo nahon lihok, pero kanang lihok ang ato ang weird mga tapulan magyuta. I'm not talking about just people here in this room and listening. Kita yung tanan ganahan kita og sayon, di ba? Pero to be able to move kinahanglan to of a kind of a repetition, a kind of, my favorite word to use is rhythm. Kinahanglan kita og naibuhatonon kada semana, kada adlaw para maanad atong lawas. In fact, kung dili nimo mabuhat ng butanga, mura kag saputo na hinuon, di ba? Parehara nag-exercise, parehara nag-run, parehara nagdagan. Kung dili ka makadagan, saputon ka. Kung dili ka maka-exercise, saputon ka. So, but in the beginning, opposite pa na. The opposite is true pa. Sugod pa nimo, saputon ka, mubuhat na ng butanga nga ganahan ka, nga it'll become a habit. Mo gini operative word, habit, di ba? So I think this is one of the most important benefits, I venture in saying, of being part of something like a dragon boat. Unya naghisgot man mo gaganiha nga naay mo'y proudest moment nga asa kitong lugar sa Malaysia man in Taiwan. Na ako no yung maabot nga race nga ganahan sad mo mangapil, right? Which is happening. What part of the world is this?
This is going to be in Sarawak, Malaysia.
Malaysia. Okay.
Malaysia.
Unya,
So,
kaninga unsa man inyong apilan? Go ahead.
right now, the it's so hard to race dito sa Philippines
Ano man?
because there's no cancer or breast cancer category here.
Oh, okay.
So most of the time, if we race here, we race against the likes of the good teams,
O kanang mga
the
kuan.
Navy,
Oh my
the
God.
Tritons,
Sus, my goodness.
you're talking about everybody else, the
Mamugsaya
Bakunawas,
yun, mamugsaya
young,
yun. Okay.
our neighbors, yeah.
Okay.
Subo Mighty.
So, wala pa kategory para niyaning
Wala.
for cancer survivors.
Exactly.
Pero sa
So-
kuan sa Malaysia na.
Naa.
Oh wow. Okay.
So most of the time we have to really
What do you call the category? Cancer yun.
for Malaysia it's the cancer.
Cancer survivors.
category.
Okay.
Oo.
Okay.
So what we hope is that we can bring a very strong, of course, cancer team, but our goal is also to bring our advocates
Mm.
to also participate in the regular categories, So as much as possible, because like anything else, we really believe that we thrive in our community because of both the survivors and the advocates. We support each other. So why not also bring them so that they can also be there for actual races, and it's also a good motivator too for them.
Kanang word nga advocacy or advocates, but that's actually a word that we hear a lot. So you guys, of course, are advocates of cancer, right? Can you tell us unsa may pinaka misunderstood misconception about cancer survivors? Maybe you can illuminate us here this morning. Nga wala pa kayo na understood, wala pa kayo nasabtan sa atong mga kaigsuunan.
Para sa akin, when you say you are a survivor, everybody gets the impression na tapos na. Unfortunately, that's to me is a misconception, because no matter what, I think as a cancer survivor, there might be that one cancer cell that thrives in your body, but it's just dormant for now. So you can always have a recurrency of the original cancer or a metastasis to other parts of the body. So we look at our survivorship as also a way to a second life to give back to the community. So you're talking about advocacy. So what is unique, and that is, I think, the one thing that I like about Cebu Pink Paddlers is we really are also an advocate team, because we have health and wellness program outside of paddling. We have fixed programs. We have also an advocacy for the environment. So we're active not just on water, but we're active as well on land. And one of our biggest thing is early detection to help the people that are still going through trying to figure out whether they have breast issues or possibly breast cancer, because I think you talked about earlier, movement. Sa amin dito, what we find, fear grips the people. So they don't even want to go through the first step in trying to see, even if they have a bukol for years na, they don't want to face reality. And so what happens then is, instead of a small thing, just a small thing, it becomes a larger and a bigger issue. And that's why the Philippines is leading. Also, I think breast cancer here in the Philippines is leading Southeast Asia in the number of incidences.
You're just talking about one cancer, right? Which is breast cancer. Pero correct me if I'm wrong, but kaning Pink Paddlers, is this just for breast cancer survivors or any cancer for that matter?
We are now accepting others.
Okay.
Other cancers.
Okay.
The reason for that is that Like I said earlier, nahirapan kami mag-recruit, but at the same time, we feel a kinship to the other cancers too. It doesn't matter, I think as a survivor, you are a survivor, whether you have thyroid cancer, uh, colon cancer, other types
Pero
of cancer.
nang hisugot ka nga kaning breast cancer, usa ni sa mga, uh, correct me if I'm wrong again, because I think I heard it incorrectly. Is it one of the easier to detect kinds of cancer, kaning breast cancer, or napay masayon ma-detect? Marag sayon naman siguro na i-detect ang breast cancer, kana sa tubangan nimo, di ba?
Yes, it's easy dahil you can do a breast self-exam. You can already feel a lump early. So if you want to pursue that, then you can have a clinical exam. That means you go to a doctor and then the doctor asks you to do a mammogram or a breast ultrasound. So madali lang. Ang problem is to get people to do it because that is the fear that grips people.
Marcel and Christine and Oli, namoy mga pangutana diya. I think feel free to ask questions. How about you can use your headphones so you can hear the questions also. How about other cancers aside from breast cancer? Kay kaning breast cancer, murag sayon naman ni siya i-detect. Pero ang hubat, ang uban ng mga cancer, sayon sa ni i-detect sila unya paghuman unsa man yung paghiubaw kaning, for example, kanang mga bone cancer, kanang mga colon cancer, kanang murag medyo kaning ang iyang mga tests are, number 1, murag medyo mahal-mahal, and number 2, kaning painful, and so daghang kay mga factors ba, so kanang detection of cancer in general ba, unsa man gyud yung mga easiest ways to detect it?
Kuan magyud no, ang early detection is the best prevention, but some of the cancer manggod is can be detected through kanang test na bitaw. Unlike sa breast cancer is you can feel the bugon sa imong tutoy or sa imong ilok. Ang some other cancer is like, for example, sa lung cancer. So sometimes kanang the usual nga ubo-ubo lang nato, nagtuo ta og kanang normal lang siya nga ubo. So sometimes di kaayo ta di nato ma-check sa doctor. But once kanang kuan na lahi na imong feeling, then you moadto na ka og doctor and then they ask you for a test. So diha na siya ma-detect through kanang kuan, like sa mga symptoms nimo, kung unsa imuhang na-feel, and then you go through a diagnostic or blood works kanang inana.
I would agree with Eden. Actually, thyroid cancer is becoming also an increasing number of patients or incidences here in the Philippines. And the sad thing about thyroid cancer is that it is more for the age of 25 to 40 years old.
Bata pa kayo,
Oo,
25 anyos
yeah.
pa.
And in the case of thyroid cancer, it's one of the easiest cancers to treat.
They
But
say as the friendliest
it's the friendliest cancer. So ang problem lang doon is that, like Eden said, it's the symptoms of the people that will push that person to go to the doctor to say, I'm kapoy, or I'm having this issue, I'm losing weight, or I'm having hair fall. So there's so many other symptoms that could be used for other issues ba, and it might take time, but a simple test starts off with the TSH or the thyroid panel. That could lead you already to a path of seeing kung if that's something that you have. In the case of thyroid and breast, there's also bidirectionality there. That means you're a thyroid cancer patient, more than likely, you also have an increased chance of having breast cancer. And breast cancer might also be something that you might also have a thyroid issue. So that's one of the reasons why we said, and again, thyroid is women-oriented. Let's just embrace all the other cancers na lang. Because the trend also for races is not just breast cancer, but it's also cancer category for our dragon boat. So it helps to we can say we can field, a cancer boat talaga made up of all cancers.
Na may mga pangutana diya, guys. If you have some questions, please feel free to drop them sa atong Facebook page, Tops Media Center, sa atong YouTube, Tops Media Center. Please press follow, subscribe, TikTok, Tops Media Center. Unsa may mga newest, latest developments karon sa cancer that will give us even more hope?
Test-wise, I think it's easy. Marami ng mga facilities that have access to good mammograms and good breast ultrasound. So that starts you off. In terms of treatment, I think they have gotten better and more advanced in the drugs that are used, especially the chemo programs, etc. So unfortunately, maybe the hard part is access still to good medical care here in the Philippines. It's the hardest because it is an expensive diagnosis to have. It's not cheap. So
Yes, absolutely, and I think it helps to be in a group, right? At least you can help each other, right? Especially here at the Cebu Pink Dragon Boat Paddlers. You mentioned earlier nga you were accepting new members, right? Not just for any specific kind of cancer, but any breast cancer survivor. How do they do that? How does one become a member of the Pink Paddler?
All they have to do is just kana mag-message lang sa mong Facebook page,
Okay.
or kung naay friends na members namo, then they can just join our practice. So every Wednesday naami sa Abiliana every 6 p.m. Then for weekends, Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 a.m. sa Cebu Yacht Club.
Ngano naman mo sa Abiliana? Wala may kuan dito, wala may dagat dito.
Because aside
Unsa mo pwede ra mag-practice sa swimming pool?
Yes, oo.
Unsa man mag-practice sa swimming pool? Magbalik-balik lang mo.
no. Sit by the pool.
Okay.
You just sit in the pool and you put your paddle on the water,
Okay.
and then you just bugsay.
Okay. Pwede ra day wala necessarily nga naay barko day or naay dagat, right? So asa man mo usually, I remember before pre-pandemic nga dito sa may Mactan Yacht Club mo nagpractice dito gyapon ba or nanay lang lugar?
Same place.
Same place sa gyapon.
Oo. That's for our sea training.
Okay.
But we call the Abiliana our pool training. So we're there every 6 o'clock usually. Meet up is at 6 o'clock. And so for anybody who wants to just try paddling, even at Abiliana, just message the page. We're happy to have you at Abiliana. Maybe for sea training, we're going to hold off on accepting new people because we're now heading towards race mode ba. So it's a little bit, the process is more rigorous to prepare us.
You know, if we have listeners out there who are kind-hearted, who would like to donate, for example, naman mo yung social media, di ba? So, sayon kaayo pag-donate, kaning TikTok lang dano, daghang kaning pamaagi nga maka-donate sila. Maybe you should also open your TikTok. Naman sila mechanism nga maka-donate ang mga viewers. Atong social media queen diri. Okay,
it's your floor, man.
so imo nang floor, Madi, si Madi?
It's Marivic.
Mavic ha. Imo na ni mag-TikTok na ka, Mavic ha. Mag-practice na jud kag ikid-ikid ha. Ha? Antay lang ka. So unsaon man nila pag-donate? Pananglitan gana na mo-donate sila og if not in kind, basig mag-donate sila og dragon boat, mag-donate sila og bugsay, paddle, mag-donate sila og cash bahinon. Unsaon man nila? So how does one do that? Go ahead.
I think they can just reach out in our page, and then we're very good at following up on messages.
Okay.
And then we can just talk to them individually. Paano every donation is somewhat different, no? Some people might want to say, hey, how about if we just help you with a shirt for our races.
Yeah.
That we need. Or how about if we just help you with a little bit of this and that in kind services ba? We would appreciate anything. We
So-
won't turn away
So
anybody.
where should they reach out? Go ahead.
Cebu Pink Paddlers Dragon Boat Team Facebook
Cebu
page.
Pink Paddlers Dragon Boat Team. Medyo taas-taas na. Hindumi ha. Cebu Pink Paddlers Dragon Boat Team. Paliw kayo kilimot niya na. Please send whatever you can in kind, in cash, or even moral support. You mentioned earlier nga murag namoy immediate need kay nag-abang ra kuno mo og dragon boat and you need a boat, right? Tell us how this works. Like tagpila man day ng usa ka dragon boat di ay unya how do they donate a dragon boat?
Yeah, ang Dragon Boat is not gonna sa mong bucket list, no? I think it's half M. 500,000 ang isa ka big boat.
Okay.
And then, yeah, need good kay namo kaya nga mo ang old nga boat is for repair na good siya.
Okay.
And then for kuan lang siya, sir. Kung
Unsa what is it made of hindi kaning dragon boat? Kahoy na siya, fiberglass.
Kahoy, and then
Kahoy
karon
fiber.
nalagid siya kuan carbon fiber, which is mo gid siya ginagamit even internationally. Oo.
So pero kung manglarga mo, kung mangadto mo og lain nga dapit, supposedly magdamos kagulinga.
No.
Oh,
The
dragon boat.
organizer na sila ilaha dito provided na ang
okay.
Dragon
Paddle
Boat.
lang.
Okay. So if they want to donate, just go to the Facebook page unya pag pangita lang paagi nga unsa niyo makatabang ni bit in cash or in kind so that they can have their own dragon boat mismo, right? Guys, do you have any questions? Kaning atong mga kaigsuonan nga batan-on pa kayo, nagunona siguro sila nga layo pa kayo ang ilahang panahon nga magka-cancer sila ba? As it turns out, sometimes cancer actually hits you even earlier. Na may mga pangutana diha, Marcel, Christine, or Ollie, go ahead. Ato mga cancer survivors diri, go ahead.
So, first of all, hi sa mga members of Cebu Pink Paddlers. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today. I was really inspired by your story, especially since you guys really found a way to sort of combine both kanang passion and kanang inyong advocacy. So, I have a few questions lang. My first question would be kanang how do you balance being athletes, being advocates for breast cancer survivors, and I also assume that kanang you guys also have your own like jobs outside of this advocacy. So how do you balance everything despite that?
It's because of the passion that we have, and we have this grit that we'll be able to, aside from paddling, we also have this giving back to our community. So I think it's a time management, and of course, with the support of like me, my spouse, been very supportive to me. So whatever kana ma-adjust lang ato ang time na ang schedule, so it's a go.
I'll second that. And then I think also if we share the responsibility with other members, it makes it easier. So it's not one person doing everything. It's many people together doing things. I think that's but yeah, your question is a good one because sometimes we have a hard time also with time management. We have also a hard time trying to balance life. So sometimes Dragon Boat takes too much of our time, and then other times laag pod, you know. So it's just a mixture of everything.
Importante kayo ng support groups, ha?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Ikaw diya, Oli. Nakay pangutana diya, Oli?
Yeah, sir. I have a question lang for our guests about the sports side of like kanang Dragon Boat Jude. Because I'm really like I'm curious about the fitness of unsay like kanang mga trainings nila when it comes to prepare. Unsa ni siya ka strict? How does the training and like your like diet looks like as a member as a like cancer survivor and as a athlete in Dragon Boat?
The diet.
We laugh at the diet part, no? When it comes to
Actually, diet is no.
for us the
Lechon diet yun sila.
Yeah.
for us po yung ano yan, yung the training really is important, no? So when we're leading up to races, we start out with 2 sea trainings a week, and that's usually Saturday, Sunday, a pool training on Wednesday. We encourage our members to also do another strength and conditioning training on their own or as a group. Then as we get closer to our race time, then we go for additional trainings at sea to start off with our programs on how we will do the races. That's a good question po about the diet. Let me just tell you from my experience, it's so hard to diet when you're in Dragon Boat. You really work out. Magutom gyud ka. So, and maybe for me also as a survivor, I don't also want to say na, oh, I missed that opportunity to eat my last lechon or my last this favorite meal, no? So yes, our team is known to be a very eat-friendly group. So most of our
Eat-friendly group.
So most of our activity is after Dragon Boat is really socializing with everybody and eating. If other people are into drinking, we're into eating, sir. So that is also our challenge.
Ikaw, Marcel, question dia before we let these lovely ladies go?
I have a question.
Go ahead,
Sir
Christine.
Jiggy.
Go
This is
ahead.
Christine. So yeah, you were talking about being strong or you have to be physically fit. Can you like give a definition or like what's your personal definition of strength? Is it like mentally strong and also being physically fit? Can you like elaborate or explain what does
it
strength?
take? What does it take? In other words, to beat this. Go ahead.
Yeah, strength is really important for paddling, no? But before physically, dapat is emotionally and mentally, you have that strength. It's because, as you mentioned while ago, sir, na kanang pagkatapulan, so nakaset na sa imong mind na tomorrow I have a training. So from there, kana lang pagmataog sa'yo. No? So, kung sacrifice na siya or kanang na disiplina na nimo imong kaugalingon, and then when you mulingkod na ka sa boat, dapat ready na ka o kanang full na imong strength kay ko ang training is like especially for race mode is dili siya sayon.
Naghisgot ka nga natay mga taga Barili nga naminan to kinsa man naminan nato taga Barili.
Attorney Jovi
Attorney Jovi.
from
I think you know.
Jovi. Kaila ta anak taga Barili man ka.
Yeah.
Silingan na namo dito sa may dakit Barili. So daghang salamat sa inyong pag-ari sa ato ang istasyonan and then we will be giving you our full support in whatever shape or form we can. So once again, why don't you invite them to be a part of the community kung atong mga cancer survivors dili ra ba ni lalim dili ni sayon unya kinahanglan jud kag support group unya importante kay maka-share tag mga stories kasi that's also very important. Importante kayo nga natay community ba unya kinahanglan po sila og mga mamugsayay po di ba mga paddlers po. In fact, they can have more than just one team. Kompleto na ba mo? Kompleto na ba inyong how many teams naman ang inyong grupo? Usara ni ka team pa so far? 14 pa kabok or nanay?
No.
Aside from breast cancer survivors, we have support or the advocates. So that was 2019. We opened our team to serve supporters.
Okay.
Advocates.
Okay.
We are
Go ahead,
already, sir, more than 50.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so the supporters and the advocates and the survivors.
Oh.
Actually, we're open for inviting
Members.
members to
Unsa
join
na
us.
ni initiation wala? Ha?
Yun nga,
Ha?
ang ano ko lang, sir.
Sama na.
Hi guys,
Pabugsayon?
don't afraid nga mag-diet mo kay in paddling. There's no diet, no? So I hope na you can try and join us para you know what's going on
Yeah.
the Cebu Pink Paddlers.
Yeah.
So diet is a no to us. So don't worry. You just please, if you know somebody who are into breast cancer, sana you can tell them to try and join Cebu Pink Paddler. We have the advocacy, we have the coffee meetup.
Namoy regular session, namoy.
Yeah.
Kano sa man magtapok-tapok mo?
Every third Wednesday of the month, so
Okay.
we'll be having our coffee and conversation.
Okay.
So it's a chika-chika with other breast cancer survivors.
Namoy
sharing our
lugar nga sa
stories.
kabok o maglain-lain?
Line every
Okay.
session. So
Okay.
this coming, actually we were moving it in the fourth or end Wednesday of this month. It's
Okay.
because karong May 3rd, July 13th
July.
Okay.
will be our 8th-year anniversary.
8th year. Wow, congratulations!
And we're
Kuya.
inviting everybody.
Namoy gamay nga kuan nga selebrasyon. Yaning yung 8th anniversary. Right?
Hoping.
Okay, hoping. So
Actually,
It's-
we're planning for that.
Okay. that's good to hear. So,
So sana guys out there makatabang mo sa amo nga mag-invite og ka nga cancer survivors. We can help them.
okay, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
The Cebu Pink Paddlers Dragon Boat, or the Cebu Paddlers Pink Paddlers Dragon Boat Team. Taas kag title. Maybe you should shorten that a little bit. So you can go to their Facebook page and drop a donation. Drop them a line. Tell them how you can help these very strong-willed women and be a part of the Cebu Pink Paddlers Dragon Boat Team, and maybe allow them to have their own dragon boat mismo. Kaya nag-abang ra kuno ni sila sa ilang dragon boat, and maybe even participate in a international
Recruitment.
competition this what month is this again?
October.
This October in Malaysia, right? And of course, maybe you can help spread the word, because I think it's very important that everybody knows how this all works, and nobody can do this alone. And I think it's important that you have community like what you have here right now with the Cebu Pink Paddlers Dragon Boat Team. Daghang salamat, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you, guys. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Sir, can we invite you and your group to paddle with
Yeah.
us?
Yes, of course. I will definitely try to do that. Yeah.
Para makakita ka sa Abiliana.
Yes, yes. Nahadlok ni si Christine ug si Oli kay kuyawan mag-diet. Nahadlok mo nga mag-diet mo kay grabe laliman ka atog 120 ka buok chicken wings gikaon na unsa. Unsa man ni si Christine ug si Oli oy. Uy, palabi mo diha oy.
Okay na, sir. Bawit man sa exercise.
Bawi is exercise.
Kapot pa ang student.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I wish I could bring you out, but I have to continue with the show. Thank you so much. Thank you. And then just give me a call or message me if you have any more announcements to make. And feel free to drop by anytime, or if not, we can Zoom it and let me know how we can help you. Okay. Thank you so much. Ang atong takna karon 19 minutos nang milabay sa alas 11. You're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice, and of course the entire TMC team is here. Oliver, Amaya, Marcela Lianos, and Christine Baron, and Justine Narvios just came in. Mayang
Hi
buntag.
guys, top of the morning.
Mayang buntag ni mo diya, Justine.
Hi Jiggy, hello TMC team.
Kamusta man
How's
ka,
everyone
Justine?
doing?
How was your weekend, Justine?
Oh, very restful except for I had a test pag Saturday, but other than that, pretty good. Pretty restful.
You know
How
what?
about you?
I'm good, and I was actually kind of disturbed because I saw a speech, and I was disturbed not necessarily about the speech, but I was disturbed on YouTube about the comments of the speech. Na ay UP student nga murag valedictorian man kuno to siya. Nag-speech siya. Ang iyang gisgutan is unsa man gyud nang kaning success in life, is it because of a diploma or is it because of diskarte? So ganahan ko nga kamo mga batanon parehan ako nga tabangan ko ninyo hisgot niya ni kay basig kaning dili kayo kaning full lang ako ang pag-discuss ani nga tapika. Asay what leads to success in life? Is it ang diploma nimo nga imong gihaguan sa eskwelahan o diskartehay ra na bay? I think first things first atong i-define ang atong mga terms, di ba? So unsa magyud na diay kaning diskarte? Who wants to define diskarte? Unsa man ang diskarte diay? Ikaw diya Justin, maka-define ka unsang diskarte? Oli, Marcel o Christine, tabangin ko na kung define na unsang diskarte.
Well, for me, I think diskarte means kanang paningkamot or has to do with grit. So when I think of diskarte, I think about resources also. So it's making use of what you already have. So it's about you finding strategies that will help you achieve your goal given the circumstances that you have. What about for our power top girls? What do you guys think?
I think discarte is more like learning on the ground or like being creative of what resources you have. Mo to kanang try you kag survive sa hardship gani. For me that is discarte.
Yeah, same sentiments for me to. Ang parang ako ang discarte is someone na discarte is kabalo ka to make use of what you have. Mangita kag paagi para magamit nimo kung unsa ang mga resources na naan mo daan kay like in reality dili ba kita tanan given the same opportunities and everything. Dapat kabalo ta unsaon siya paggamit of kanang kung unsa may naanato karon. Dili ta mag down sa atong self abi what ato kay magbanat na ay di na ko makaya na kay kanang wala na ko ina opportunity parihan nila. So there's always a way if pangitaan lang gid nimo.
Yeah, same sentiments with everyone, but if I had to like maybe put it in a nutshell, maybe diploma is more of people na book smart, whereas discarte it's more of being street smart. It's more of like learning through lessons outside of the four corners of the classroom, and it's really about your effort and your determination to learn more even without the resources na ginaspumpid sa imuha.
Okay, kani magong diploma, di ba? Kinanglan makamo eskwela, di ba? Kinanglan kamo eskwela pipila ka tuig, di ba? Aun niya paghuman adto pa jud kag kolehiyo kung ganahan ka nga makadawat ka og let's just say doctorate, punan pag mo pila ka tuig, di ba? So you spend so much money, not to mention a lot of time and effort to get a diploma. Pero nganong ang pananaw ba nganong gi-equate man nila or how can it be equal nga the effort of going to school is kaning mas lisod man siguro gyud makakuha diploma, di ba, kaysa mo diskarte lang kanganong mura man why are they in equal footing? Nganong gi-equal man nila tanaw nimo?
Kuan man gud sir ang kanipod na like kanang na argument ba nagsugod man based sa akong podcast na kitanaw kanina pudlain. Ang argument nagsugod siya ni Josh Mojica, ang owner sa kanang tong kangkong chips na siya. I think yan gikuan na ang discarte gyud ang dapat ang okira na ang diploma is not as important as sa imong skills in life. Mo to mga to ka nag-argue about that so good.
Justin, Justin imo mo yung gistudyuhan kajut lang kayo Marcela or Christine. Justin imo mo tong gistudyuhan iyang speech. Unsa magiunod sa iyang speech dia Justin? Go ahead. Kinsa gani siyang valedictorian na ha?
Yeah, so this was the speech of the valedictorian of UP Diliman's class of 2025. Ang kaning yung name is si Mark Andy Pedere. He's the summa cum laude graduate of yung course was Philippine Studies, and he just graduated this year. In fact, medyo taas iya hang kanang yung average. Yung average niya, weighted average niya for when he graduated was 1.066.
Wow!
Grabe guys, no?
gamay lang liga sa ako ang tres, di ba? Gamay na lang, di ba?
Grabe.
So unsa man iyang unod sa iyang valedictory speech diay? Unsa valedictory speech niya? Unsa unod ato?
Yeah, so the title of his speech is Diploma o Diskarte. So here he talks about how ang main gist niya is for most Filipinos there's actually not much of a choice. For most of us it's not like diploma or diskarte. In fact, it should be diploma and diskarte. He says daw nga for a lot of the people that are underprivileged, it's not like they have a choice out of the two. So, ingon siya nga, ang totoo daw, dumiskarte tayo para sa diploma na ito. So, they come in hand daw. And he emphasized in his speech nga several themes. Number one, it's not just about securing the diploma, but it's also about having the skills that are required, like resourcefulness, strategy. So it's about navigating through the real world, the things that you need to have to survive in the real world. So he also was very in his speech. Now a lot of people would say it's kind of bold because if you notice kaning mga valedictorian speeches no, and I've been to some mga kaning graduations of my siblings, and it's always nostalgic in nature. Like it's always grateful, hopeful, and nostalgic. Kaning my speech is always gonna talk about the experiences. It's the typical cliche, oh, I never thought we'd get here, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to thank the following people. And then here's what I hope for the future. It's always about hope, hope, hope. It's very positive, right? But if we notice, Mark Pedere's speech is actually kind of bold in such a way that it's not necessarily hopeful. In fact, it gives you a glimpse or the reality of like what it means to be to have mga side hustles, to do freelance work, to have emotional labor, kanang real life struggle. Because he mentions a lot about burnout, kaning mga the negative side that people tend to overlook ba when you're achieving your goal. You know, at the end of it all, we expect man good nga the glory comes with the success is easily obtained, but then people forget that there's so much blood, sweat, and tears behind the scenes ba. So that is what he magnified in his speech. And also he speaks what people notice from his speech is that he made it like a shared experience. So instead of usually when you're speaking as a valedictorian, I think there's this misconception that you're like speaking above or like from a pedestal, even in the way that you deliver your speech. But in this speech, he wanted it to be relatable to the rest of the students. Banga, he's like a peer who made it out by working smart and working hard. So in that way, his speech like tries to connect everyone together with that general idea. And then medyo napod siya socio-economic commentary gamay, like subtle hints ba in his speech that talk about, it's not necessarily political, no, but a lot of his messages would highlight inequality, na there are many students who aren't privileged enough to just study hard. Kay I like that he mentioned that, Chigi, kay reality man good is that you can't just say nga you just have to be kugyan, bahala ko kay kwarta, you just have to study hard. So diskarte lang yun, diskarte out of the two. If it's diskarte or diploma, diskarte will get you somewhere. He was talking about the reality in life. It's not an or, you must have diskarte and diploma. So he was talking about how if you're not privileged enough, the reality is that studying hard or pagka-diskarte isn't necessarily gonna get you anywhere. You gotta have both po na reality ba. Yeah, so moto inging walang o sa pagitan ng diskarte at diploma.
Marcel, unsa may you were about to say something and I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Actually, I think Miss Justin already said most of it, but I'd like to add that having a diploma is not really like a guarantee for success, man said, because we can have like a lot of graduates, but we also see na kanang maglisod gyapon sila og pangita og mga jobs gani, even mga honor students, mga cum laude, maglisod sila pangita og jobs even with a diploma. So I think having that diploma and having the perfect amount of discard would really go hand in hand. And I'd also like to say like another speech sa UP gyapon na commencement exercises. I remember this line from Miss Jessica Soho. She was actually a keynote speaker said sa UP na speech, and ang kanina line itatak siya nako kay murag okay, so this line is actually ang line na yung gisulti is, so what if you're from UP? So this line really struck me kay mostly mga, especially sa mga big companies or corp companies, kay ang napansinan nako kay murag tan-aw din nila ang school kung asa ka nagikan. I think the school has become one of the sort of requirements in a way na like huy taga USC ni siya, murag
mo na siya murag shorthand siya, murag siya shorthand ba, because it is complicated and it's a long drawn out process to make the people's lives easier. Na sila gipangita nga certain kind of students mo nang eskwelahan na lang ilahang para dili na kayo hassle ba. Of course,
Yeah.
that is not to say nga wala exceptions to the rule, right? I mean, like if you had all the time in the world, you can talk to all the schools, right? Pero if it's kaning time that you're talking about para masayon imuhang trabaho, labi na sa HR siguro, I'm just theorizing, perhaps it's easier for them to just whittle it down to several universities. I don't know. Please continue, Marcel.
Yeah, so with that, what Miss Jessica sa hostad, yeah, like, dapat ang mga students kay, even though na, like, nagikan sila in a big university like UP, dapat, gani na, like, dili sila magsalig na taga UP sila, kay, mas dali sila let's say, kung taga UP sila ang mga employers kay, like, murag dali gani sila what do you call this, mo accept, like, that's their misconception man gud na, like, kung naga big university ka dali ra ka makita trabaho, but as you said, that's not always the case, and there should always be that mix of discard and of course humility pud sa mga students na dili sila magsalig na taga big school sila, because work is an equalizer.
Yeah.
Like, wala man tayo
Correct.
in work man gud kay, it doesn't matter kung like asa ka na school na gikan, pila imong grades, di man na tan-awon even sa most HR imong grades. It would really depend on your skills and how you would present yourself to the workforce.
You know, there's a book called Everything I Learned in Kindergarten. There's also a song that said something like, this is from John Mayer, and I'm quoting, I can't wait to go back to my high school reunion and tell them that everything I've learned is wrong. There's no such thing as a real world. It's just lies that we rise above. And I'm quoting a song from John Mayer, right? And you see a lot of examples, right, of people who dropped out of school, right, and have become ultra successful, right? So there's kanang discarding a word ba? There's something the nature of the word diskarte, I think, na siya mga butang nga dili makatuna nimo sa eskwelahan mo nang diskarte. There's something unacademic about diskarte. What are your thoughts on the actual meaning of the word diskarte nga dili na nimo matudlo sa eskwelahan kanang hustle kanang diskarte? Who wants to answer or pitch in?
That's so true, Jiggy, no? Sometimes the word discarte isn't actually academic in nature. I mean, there is discarte in getting good grades, but hustling, grit in general, that's something, a concept that you have to experience for yourself. I think the non-academic thing that you mean about discarte, for me, it has to do with experience, meaning for you to truly understand what discarte is, you have to experience it for yourself. It's not a concept that you learn from your teachers and inside the classroom. You have to go out and actually experience it. You have to experience finding a way that is not dictated to you. You have to experience making use of circumstances that are not in your favor. So I think the non-academic thing is experience. Yeah. What about you guys?
Oh yeah.
The nature of the word diskarte. Go ahead, Christine.
So for me lang, what makes it what was the term again? I'm sorry.
Diskarte. Unsa may mura og kind of expound on the word ba. There's something unacademic murag dili na nung makatunan sa eskwelahan ang word or ang pang-imong diskarte murag that's from the school of hard knocks. And the nature of information sad kanang magong impormasyon usahay kanang kung masuwat na nimog libro magsugod na siya pagka kaning dated. Diba? Ang iyang maluma na siya. Unsa tawag ng telepono nga makuha na unsa tawag na basta kay madaan na siya ba? Ma-face out na ba? So the moment it is written in a book is the beginning of the ending of that theory of that truth, right? So kanang diskarte it's mura siya in nature outside of the classroom learning na siya. That's my thoughts on that. Go ahead, Christine, continue. I interrupted you.
That's okay. So what makes it unacademic? For me, the school teaches you rules. And when you discarte, it's either you learn when to break or bend the rules wisely. Kay, as what I've mentioned, you have to learn from the ground and make use of what resources you have to achieve certain goals. if that makes sense.
Mm.
You have
Yeah.
to like kaning a certain rule dili siya mo apply sa ako, so I have to bend it a little bit maybe.
Mm.
So
Mo
para ma-achieve
mo
na
nang
ko
dili
ang
nimo
goals.
makatunan sa eskwelahan ang diskarte kay murag it involves a kind of bending of reality, right? Is that what you're saying? Sakto ba ko, kaning Christine?
Yes, Sir Jiggy, you got it right.
Ikaw Oliver, unsa may mo diskarte diha?
Sir, what makes it an academic for me is because when we say man with academic, it's mostly kitudloan na is kanang explicit knowledge. Like sa imong gigon sir, sa libro na siya gisulat na pwede siya ma-distort, mabut ka ng laing meaning and stuff. And mostly all of the kasagaran ng mga knowledge man good kay theory siya. So need siya og ganang personal experience para makabalo jud ka na how to apply these theories in real life. Like namo karon ng OJT me para ka na ma-experience mo kung unsay feeling yun to be in media.
Mm.
And when you're experiencing with something in real life, there's this thing called tacit knowledge where kanang knowledge na ma-learn mo in your own way na lisod siya i-transfer sa lain silbi imo siyang own pamaagi how to do stuff. So it's important na po mga ana. And you can't learn that from school.
Marcel?
To add lang po, sir, another example of like what they call this of Discarta being sort of unacademic is through the student organizations that we are part of. So, for example, we've coming to we've been part of different student publications, mga CES na orgs, and what we do in these orgs, we're a part of like different committees, and usually ang work na among gido here, it's not really wala siya gitudlo gani inside the classroom. So, for example, in one of my orgs, we had to do mga project proposals or mag-email mi og mga correspondences, contact mga people, etc., etc. And what we learned from these orgs are sort of a form of discarte. Kaya like, ang kaning mga orgs na mo, wala ni there's no set murag professor or mentor na nagkan. It's from our own resources, our own research, etc. And yeah, there's something really unacademic about discarte because effort or like discarte can't be taught through books. It should really be through experience. That's how you really learn how to really delve into the professional.
Text dire si kuno si 3858. Kana ko nung dili kuno ka makadiploma kung di ka kamao mo diskarte. Justin, sa tanan mo na Justin. Dili kuno ka makadiploma kung dili ka kibaw mo diskarte.
Yeah, true. Absolutely true. Even in the way that you memorize items for your tests, that's a matter of discarte. And I learned that from you actually, Jiggy. We were talking about this a couple of days ago. Remember, you were telling me about how it's important to engineer study habits, and no one can really teach you. I mean, you can learn a system from your teachers, from your parents, no, but ultimately it's up to you to make use of that and really kanang follow through gid ba with the system taught. So mao gid na ang diskarte. Kay ako, for example, Jiggy, I am such marag sometimes the information in my brain it slips out way too quickly ba. So I have to have everything written down. If I have things to do, I can't just like keep a mental note. I must have a checklist good. And that was a system that was taught to me by my mom when I was in grade school pa. Nga, she said before that I never really had a system of like a calendar where I'd put good unsa nga assignments and this and that and make like a checklist and schedule things good with a time like at 3 p.m. gonna be studying this and that. And until now no, as I'm working, I still carry that with me. And that's one thing that my classmates noticed about me even in college, no, kabantay sila nga akong phone lock screen is a screenshot of a checklist. And they're like, I notice your checklist changes, no, like you always put a checklist. I'm like, yeah, because I won't be able to remember it good if it's like not my wallpaper. If it's not a checklist na I strike through.
Muna imo ang diskarte.
Mao na akong diskarte. And
muna imong kind of definitions one of the things that you would consider diskarte. Napoy kaning linya sa nga sige mabalik-balik na kog madungog sa makong mga kaila ba. It's not what you know, it's who you know. So unsa may tanon yon na? It's not what you know, dili na imuhang kibaw-an, pwede kag magbitay lang ka pirmi, it is who you know. Kay kung mga apply kag pantrabaho, king ang kaning imo yung mga amigo ang yung mga kailang sa imong papa, kaila sa imong mama, kaila nimo mismo nga makapasud nimo og trabaho. What do you think of that, guys? It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Who you know? Oh.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think especially nowadays with a very competitive job environment, I think that is really true. Na like it's not about what you know, it's who you know. And sometimes man good like when we look at the skills, like let's say graduate candidates and they have like more same skills, and then let's say ang isa ka candidate kay na siya kaila from inside the company. I think man good like most ako nakitan ka kay ang kanang mga like mo hire sa people, they want to hire someone who they already like know or are familiar with, and yeah, basically I think na kanang like na feel na jud na mo karon, especially kanang the OJT me, and we were like looking for companies na feel na namo siya na kanang concept, especially since yeah, what I said earlier, na very competitive workforce, and it's really hard for us to get accepted without a backer.
Kinahanglan jud kag backer, kinahanglan ka og kaning supporter, kinahanglan ka og kaning amigo or kaila, di ba?
Yeah.
Na may term po sir, di ba, na kanang term na dole sa luwag. Yeah, kaya kung mo kanang if sa katong gingon ni Alori sa kaday sa kanang sa overflowing surge of workforce karon daghan na kayong tao mong apply into a lot of companies, and sa kadaghang tao na tendency na malubong na ka sa kadaghang resume, imong resume malubong na lang singari. Mas bintaha man gud mo na kay backer.
You know what? I'll tell you a little secret, ha. Ako, I went to many schools. I went to UP and I also went to San Carlos, right? Unya, ang mga kaila, ang akong mga kliyente, ang akong mga classmate. So, ang akong pasabot niya na is, kung wala ko ni eskwela, basig wala ko yung mga kaila nga, yung mga tag-iya na ron og mga kompanya, mga manager na, mga CEO na, mga presidente na, di ba? So, importante kaayo nga na ako'y murag common, murag community ba? Kay kanang kolehiyo, kanang mo eskwela ka, that's a kind of extended family. Murag nagkomunidad nimo, di ba? Mo man imong kalibutan for kung batanon pa ka more than half of your life, di ba? So importante kayo nga nakay mga classmate nga eventually mahimo na nimo mga clients or business partners and so on and so forth. So kung wala kang nag-eskwela, asa man ka mangita og business partners, asa man ka mangita og komunidad, di ba? Kung diskartihay ra, di ba? So na kay distinct advantage kung ni-eskwela ka, kay naman kay mga classmate nga potential customers, business partners nimo in the future, right? Sakto ba ko?
Yes, sir. Very right.
Yeah, that's so true.
Justin,
You
yeah,
know,
your thoughts, Justin, go ahead.
the power of networking, no, I really believe in that. Although I also believe that there's merit to making it out on your own, like kanang, despite, you shouldn't salig also with like who you know. Pero you can't deny also that we're social beings. So naturally, your future clientele, especially if you're in sales, no, or whatever industry, it's about who you know, pod. Like you are who you hang out with. So if you're in an industry that requires you to know those people, then it's beneficial to you. For example, you're trying to you're in the industry of music, for example, or entertainment, or like us at TMC, kaning media. So it really helps if you engage with other people in the same field, mga producers, mga record labels, mga creatives, this and that. Okay, how else are you gonna expand on your craft and do your work if you're gonna isolate yourself from the community that involves your work, diba? So it's the same thing also, why it's the same reason why parents put us in different schools, no? Although some people would say, that's not true, man. Like, you only enroll your kids in a specific institution for the education. But really, the reality is also because you want them to hang out with people of the same likeness. You're hoping that in the future, when they make connections, it's with that same people. They meet people in a specific field because of the people that they were surrounded with growing up. So I actually don't see anything wrong with that. Although there is man good that negative ano ba nga, not necessarily nepotism. It's kanang you know that what they say, she got, for example, this person got that job, kay kailan niya ang kaninga person. And then I'm always like, why is that a negative thing? I always see it as a positive thing. Like, you can't be bitter if you don't have that specific connection, because connections are also made through effort. When you put yourself in a situation nga sige mo kauban with that person, then naturally there are things that you can exchange, mga opportunities, favors, and stuff like that. So I think we need to capitalize on that, and not all the time, no, that you get into something. What I'm trying to say is sometimes you make unexpected opportunities along the way. And like in my personal experience, even going to law school, even though I thought of it as like, oh, I want to study, I made a lot of connections and learned a lot of things from other people na I wasn't exposed to before. I got to meet friends that work in different industries, sa sales, sa technology, digital world, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't know about these things prior to entering law school, even though my purpose was to study law. Na-introduce ko to different industries because of the different people that were also in law school. So I always see it as a win-win.
What are your thoughts, guys?
I'd like to add everything, no, summarize na lang. So, yeah, I think you can have all the skills and knowledge to get the job that you desired, but also the success goes to the right people who you are connected lang jud. So if you have this kind of dream job, then someone works there, or kanang dako-dako baron, then most likely ma-recommend ka niya, and then you'll get that position or the job that you wish to have.
Kibaw ka kanang diskarte ba? I think kanang correct me, so sorry for being blunt, ha. Muram siguro part of that is pabagaig nawag mo siguro. Di ba? Kanang bitong for example, kanang it's not what you know, is who you know. Pero kanang tao mo good, especially na with social media, pwede ra man good nga mangita kag paagi nga makaila kanang tawana. For example, kamo. Di ba? Giyon sa man ninyo pagkailan ako, dili wabe ko parenting amaya o baron o lienos, di ba? So naamoy diskarte. Giyon sa man ninyo pag, di ba? Yun sa man ninyo pag nakalimot ni nung ko na nag-email mo, di ba? Yun sa ninyo pag diskarte nga nung nagkaila ta, Oliver?
Ano, sir, actually, for ako ang auntie.
Oh, see?
So, you recommend kaniya na, ari na lang kayo, ganun ka maka-learn for this stuff.
Kinsa man yung antihan mo? Kinsa man ni?
Si Auntie Joy, Amaya.
Si Auntie Joy. Oh, kato siya, oh. So ana, di ba? So na kay hustle, na kay diskarte, di ba? So anang mo na nature ang diskarte. Unya, kibaw nako nabantayan ba? I don't know if this is true. Can you correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, especially you kay naman ka sa psychology sad. Nakabantay ko ka ng mga high achievers in school bitaw. They never really fulfill the promise of their high achievements. I mean, they go on to kaning corporate jobs and they have high positions, pero murag kaning ilang careers ba, we would have expected more from them, but instead mura sila they're in a corporate job. They're never really like overachievers, but murag I would even say they become underachievers. Murag magunaw na kang ngilngig kay ni sa tanan siguro kay paning valedictorian good, pero dili ang ilang achievements is not as high as what their diploma says. What are your thoughts on that, Justin?
Oh. Yeah, actually, we've seen that a lot, no, many cases of that. But first, no, before I answer that, I want to also acknowledge na success is a very subjective concept. So although for most people, we would think like, oh, we've expected more from this person who was a high achiever in school and now they're just working a corporate job. We also don't know, maybe in that realm or in their own, what's ganina, what do you call that when you adjust a temperature, kanang naay, what do you call that, Jiggy, when you adjust temperature, di ba, that you use a dial, unsa na? Or a
temperature sa room?
Yeah, what is that called?
Temperature
Thermometer.
thermometer?
Yeah, thank you. A thermometer, no?
Oh,
So,
oh.
so I think everyone man good has their own like thermometer also or like measure of success ba. And we don't know nga sa iya ha, basin mao na pud na iyang measure of success or say what has been installed to him or her. So again, very subjective. But if we're gonna look into a like you mentioned a psychological perspective na lang, what I try to understand man good is that every behavior is reinforced, di ba? And when we're in school, we are reinforced our behavior to study hard, to do well in tests. That's reinforced by certain rewards. You're given a medal. When you do good grades, when you do good in school, you'll immediately see it in your grades. So it's again reinforced. It's telling you year after year, semester after semester, I must do better. I must do better. What I see man good is that in school, the rules are very clear. You have to follow instructions, you do the readings, you submit on time, then the reward is you get a good grade. It's a very structured system that requires compliance and then you really following through with the system. But the thing is, in real life, the rewards are not the same as the system placed in school, right? In real life, it's messy. There are no clear instructions. There are times nga, sometimes you have to create your own path and the rewards aren't as or there's no like proper system in life, no, that would really saying okay, you're gonna be rewarded for something that you do. Sometimes when you start out at a job,
not clear, no clear instructions, messy. Sounds like my school's already taught me that. Right? Kaya ang atong mga eskwelahan messy, di ba? No clear instructions, di ba? So in a way, kung gubot imong eskwelahan, maybe that should be a lesson to you also. The real life is also gubot.
Pero usually man good in all educational institutions, there's man good that idea of there's that system in place nga. If you reach the metric, if you reach a good grade, at the end of the year makakuha gid kag medal. Kind of sure ball ba. You can already study the system.
Correct, yeah.
But in real life, when you start out at a job, dili ba na sure, like for example, internships. No matter how much you work your butt off, there's also that factor of like attitude. Sometimes your boss might just not like you, your personality. So it's not sure ball nga ikaw ang makuha ang job at the end, di ba? Or as mentioned by our tops girls, the power tops girls, sometimes you don't have the connection also that the other candidates might have. Or you might be working so hard at a particular job and then you know, even though you hit the metric supposedly giving you the chance to be promoted, ang usa ka team member ang ma-promoted. So again, it's not the same system that we learned from school.
Is it a critique, Justine, of the metrics? Are you critiquing the metrics? Maybe we should have a different metric for success. Kay pananglitan, na kay board exams, ikaw mag-abogado makapahon, di ba? So na bar exams, di ba? So mo na metric niya. So ang educational institution, of course, mas daghan magmo-enroll kung mas daghan makapasar sa bar exams, di ba? So kanang nursing, for example, ang ilang metrics ang number of people nga makapasar sa board exams. So the more passers sa board exams ang ilang eskwelahan, mas daghang mo enroll kay negosyo sa nang eskwelahan, di ba?
Yes, yes.
So do you think nga ang ato ang usbon ang metrics atong butangan diag hustle-metric or hustle-metric? Tanaw ninyo.
That is good. That's a good idea, no? To factor in hustling as a metric. No?
Yeah.
But I think man good, personally, no, even after working in academe, even just for a year, I see nothing wrong with the metrics of the educational system. Okay naman. But the danger is when students are so hooked up to that. I think the psychology man good aning when you mention ngano di sila mo succeed in real life, but in school they were so good, is because they think that real life is just like the same metrics in school. You have to understand that academics, that's a whole different realm from real life. Like what the system that made you a winner in academics may not be the same system that will reward you in real life, because real life is not the same as school. So pero I'm not saying that the school system is siguro metrics are flawed. For me, it works for school. It works as a good system to get you to learn habits. Like it's enough for you to learn okay, if I just am consistent, I get a reward. It's good for reinforcing good behavior. But not that you should be like totally focused and obsessed with that nga system bitaw. Kay maugid nang mahitabo. So bookish, so good with grades, but then ang essential life skills to survive outside of school kulang. Grit, you know, like how to make use of the situation when things don't go your way. Understanding temperament, social cues.
Emotional intelligence, di ba?
Kana, emotional intelligence. You don't necessarily learn that in school, ba? You learn that through interaction with people. So, I think there needs to be a balance.
So
Dangerously
ang pangutana niya na Justin, ngano man? Nganong dili man ako makatunan sa eskwelahan? Ngano man? Nganong dili man na itudlo sa eskwelahan, be? Pasabta ko nako kung nakibaw man ta nakita man gali ako magay mismo nga dili man ko kaning I'm not from academia pero kibaw ka nga kibaw man tang importante na ang kanang hustle, di ba? Nganong dili man dili man na matudlo sa atong mga institutions. Nganong dili man kanang diskarte from the name Descartes man na siya, di ba? Philosopher man Descartes, di ba? So nganong dili man ta mag og diskarte in school? Why can't it be a subject in school?
Actually, contrary to what people know, it is actually a subject in school. And I think that's what humanities are for in general.
Philosophy.
All subjects related to humanities. Even philosophy, it's taught in school. Even in college, is the problem. Ang good. I noticed that we take, even in my personal experience, we take for granted, man good, these humanitarian subjects. Like kanang in college, makaingon ta, minor subject raman ng understanding the self. It's not a minor subject. It's actually relating to real life.
Okay.
Kaya
in many ways, the most important subject, di ba?
Pero for most of us, when you're studying something, for example, mag-engineering ko, ako
So may
i-focus
labot
ko on my
aning, di ba?
subjects related to
So
engineering.
may labot ni kwanza?
Pero we do have subjects, even in college, ginadukduk magyapon ng, you would think as a grown adult in college, why do I still have to learn about understanding myself? Shouldn't I, diba? Shouldn't I know how to understand myself at this age? But the reality is that is a lifelong lesson. Kanang social, emotional intelligence, growing that's a lifelong lesson. So it is taught in school. MAPE, subjects like that, no?
Kamo dia nag-eskwela pa man sad mo sa college kaning power tops girls kaning nabay diskarte subject sa inyong eskwelahan sa San Carlos?
Well, I think Miss Justin said now we have understanding the self, and there's also subjects like ethics and katong. I remember in senior high we had personality development, so it really those subjects really help us to discover not only ourselves as personal beings, but also to sort of grow also into our professional selves.
How about you, Christine? Na ba kay subject diha nga makita nimo nga makat-on ka og kaning pagdiskarte?
Yeah, I think unsa kitong kwan sa Ellery, not gen ed nga subject where we get to choose gani. I think
Electives.
electives. We have electives, so you can choose something relatable gay sa imong hobbies, pero there's sa main agatong coffee something. I forgot what.
So tanong nimo na subject nga nagtudlo niya ng pagdiskarte.
Yeah, kay if you enrolled yourself sa kana nga electives like barista, then you kung unsa ang gi-teach sa inyo sa inyong professor, then ma-apply din mo siya if you'd like to have kanang part-time jobs.
You know what? Nakabantay ko ba nga atong hisgutan karon puros lang manrabaho, puros lang mo apply og trabaho, di ba? Wala ko nakadungog og hisgot nga kaning mag-entrepreneur, di ba? Nya kanang entrepreneurial spirit ba? I think mo na ginay pinaka madiskarte siguro nga field siguro, di ba? Kay kanang manrabaho ka, mura ra man nagkaning mag-apply ka, dili man na up to nimo, pero kanang magtukod kag negosyo imuha man na tanan, di ba? So tan-aw ninyo ba sa inyong experience ang inyong pag-eskwela gi-program gyud mo nga para ra manrabaho mo, nagkuwang mo og diskarte, wala mo gi-program nga mahimog entrepreneur, o depende lang na sa subject nga inyong kaning enrollan? Who wants to
for me,
pitch in? Go ahead.
Yeah, for Manggod, I think there are subjects that try to encourage you to be more entrepreneurial in general of your course or your strand. Even in for example sa senior high school, all strands regardless if STEM, ABM ka, even if you take nga di man ko I'm not planning man to get into business. You're taught man gyapon basic entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
basic all those things ba, basic marketing and all that. And then gina-encourage magyapon, especially during the pandemic. It was very much encouraged to have your own business venture kay it was difficult for people to apply physically for jobs. So a lot of these booming industries nga kaning mga shops, online shops, stalls, people were getting into that. So I think there are subjects man gyud that encourage that pagka-diskarte to make your own business.
Madiskarte, okay.
Pero personally man good, I don't know about our Power Tops girls, pero ako I've never really been good at negosyo gyud. Like dili sad gyud siya akong interest. It stresses me out so much. Even when I was in high school, nga namin mga simulation, di jud ko mo I have a hard time with like the accounting of everything. So hence also why my path good in education when I took up senior high school kaysa humanities ko, and the course I took up in college was psychology. I'm more into social sciences. So, but it doesn't mean you can't have a business after that. You can, but I think my interest still until now would still be rather to work in a field rather than to have my own business. So, murag lacking gid siguro ko anang passion na nang dapita, but maybe our Power Tops girls are different.
Kanang pag-passionate bitaw sa usa ka butang, mo man ay rason nganong ang mga the great ones actually drop out of school, di ba? Because they've found their passion. And kung makakita na kasi imuhang passion, unsa imong ganahan gud sa imuhang kinatibuk ang panglawas, your entirety, this is what consumes you, then I think that's why they quit, right? Because they want to focus on one particular area of expertise, di ba? So mo siguro na nga ang pagdiskarte dili pasabot nga dili na ka magtuon. Maybe ang diskarte is nga magtuon lang kang usa ka butang nga imuhang kasing-kasing mo tibok bitaw every time you read about that particular topic. So you learn so much about this very narrow field and you become an expert at this very narrow field, and that's when you gain success. So mo nang dili siguro nimo makatunan sa eskwelahan siguro kanang passion ba, kanang fire ba in your belly ba, dili man ta pakanon og kaning uling siguro sa atong mga maestro maestra, di ba? Sakto ba ko? Di ba? Pakanon mas may siguro pakanon tag kaning kayo diha. Tanaw ninyo diha mga Power Tops girls, pakanon tag kayo maayo siguro? Or na mo yung mga maestra nga magpakaog kayo ninyo?
Kuyaw kayo na nga kung naa nga subject, sir. Pero I think
fire in your belly. Yeah.
Add more gani like I think you should add more mga subjects nga kanang dili kayo let's say academic-ish na program sa school. Like mga 1 hour lang guro nga i-explore nila ilahang likes or like potential passion.
We're running out of time. Q Magic is all set for his kaning top of the not top of the morning, but a young magic hour. Before I let you go, I just want you to comment on one last thing, if it's okay with you guys. Right now, manggod kaning atong hisgutan, diskarte, diploma, blah blah blah, might be rendered moot and academic, pun intended. Kay ang atong mga trabaho siguro wala na ni-exist nga atong gipang-eskwelahan because of artificial intelligence or general AI, right? So how do you feel about the new technologies that are available, especially artificial intelligence, and our diskarte and our diploma? Wa takibaw ang atong trabaho ang atong eskwelahan dili na mo exist. So how do you will these two things, diskarte and diploma, still matter in a world where your job can be replaced by an entity called general artificial intelligence? Justin, you can start.
Oh, good question. No, as usual, I think at the end of every discussion, we both come up with like the general enemy, and mine is always colonialism.
Okay.
And Jig is always AI, which is true. That's kana murag threat good ba? So I think diskarte still matters even with the emergence of AI, because AI as much as possible can only learn and work with whatever we give it. Pero diskarte man good, it's also unpredictable. Like kanang fire in our bellies, I think it can take us farther than what AI can do, because it's up to us ramang gyud on how much we give it to progress. So yeah, it's the same thing when I say nga humanities will still survive. Same thing ra gyapon ang kanang human aspect of grit and diskarte. It will still survive despite whatever emergence. That's my take.
What are your thoughts, Christine? Go ahead.
For me, AI will not cancel diploma or discarte discussion. It will just amplify both, because we all need to be smart. We have to adapt quickly, like being resourceful, and also we have to be they're still humane in us. So I think di nyo siya makancel nga palibutan jud tag AI.
How about you, Oliver? Go ahead.
Hello, can I be heard?
Yes, I can. You can be heard. Are you a person or a robot?
I think I'm a robot.
Go ahead.
For me lang, ang diskarte, even though ang AI is nag-rampant na siya in this generation, dili siya mawala. Kaya mag diskarte na po na nimo kung saon nimo na di ka mabiyaan sa mapulian sa AI. Find ways ba para kanang ang imong gitunan or something about is mo remain relevant through time. So yeah, basically discard nimo on how to handle AI in this world.
How about you, Arcel? Go ahead.
So before I answer the question, I'd like to share a bit of research na akong nakitan. So there's this survey by Resume Builder. This is a very recent edition of survey pag May 2025, and this survey found that 37% of Gen Z college graduates are now working or actively pursuing blue-collar jobs. And one of the main reasons why they prefer blue-collar jobs over the office jobs or white-collar jobs is that they are actually afraid to be replaced by AI. So that's a very sort of alarming statistic. But when it comes to the diploma and discarded discussion being cancelled by AI, I don't think it would be cancelled by AI, because like what they said, na discarded na po na nimo unsaon pag to stay relevant in the industry, and especially since now we have been incorporating or we've been using assistive AI in some of our mga works, like for example sa academics, there are times na tag-as kay ganig mga readings. I think Miss Justin would relate na yung mga tag-as na readings, especially in law-related subjects. And what we do is we ask help from AI to sort of simplify these things. So I think AI would not really totally replace us, especially kami sa media. Kay media, it's built on the humanity aspect. Us media people, we report on what humans are doing, and I don't think AI could ever replace that sincerity and the way we bring our stories to the viewers. So that's my take on this concept.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Daghang salamat to the Power Tops girls, to Ollie, to Christine, and to Ursel, and of course to Justin Narvis. Daghang salamat nimo diya, Justin.
Thank you, Jiggy.
Daghang
Thank you so
salamat.
much for Power Tops girls. See you guys tomorrow.
And I think it's very important that we learn that learning does not stop, and it should never stop. And I think it only stops when we're dead, right? So whatever it is that we need to learn, let's learn it. I'm sure sakto mo kanang diskarte, dili man siguro na ma-program sa AI, dili man nakibaw ang AI mo diskarte. Mura gid siguro na probably our only advantage to technology, right? Mo diskarte. So kung naay trabaho nga napulihan ng AI, mangitag lang yung trabaho, di ba? So mo nang usa sa mga pinaka-importante nga features sa ato ang educational system gyud nga kanang mahimo ta og resilient, di ba? Nga nimble ta nga we're quick change artists, and we're able to pivot to the next thing, right? And I think that's also very important, and maybe we should figure out a way to put that in the classroom. Daghang salamat, you guys, and you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I'll catch you again tomorrow for Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. Coming up next, Kuya Magic for the Magic Hour. I'm going to leave you with Jericho Strigan.